Hello everyone! Welcome to Quick Unpick. I hope you're all well and having a lovely Sunday morning or Sunday night, depending where you are in the world. So I'm going to get the little pomegranate, Rumana. All right, I hope some of you are there. How are you doing? Oh, hello Sandy! How are you? Good to see you. Hello Liz. Hello, what name you made? I'm not going to be able to do this for everyone, but it's really lovely to see you guys here. Hello, Connie. Hello, everyone. Okay, right. Yes. All right. So we've got the little pomegranate. She's joined. So here we go. Invite. Yeah. I'm getting a bit better at this, I hope. Why did I say that? Why? Have I just tempted fate? Oh, dear. Yeah, I have, haven't I? Right there. I press invite about 3 times and it's like, doesn't work sometimes, but hopefully. Okay, there we go. Yes. Come on. Okay, it says the little pomegranate is unable to join. Don't worry, we've had this before. I'm going to request you, Rumana, so hopefully it'll come through. See, why did I say it's going well? I always do this. Okay, come on. Oh, yay! Hi, Rumana. Lovely to see you.
You too. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've got my cup of tea. I was like,
oh
am I going to be late? But I was like, do you know what? Tea is worth being late for. I'm
yes,
not going to lie. If I'm late,
it's
probably because I made a cup of tea.
Yeah, I put the kettle on and I was like, no, it's too, like, I had to run to the summer house, so I got my water instead, but I'll have my cup of tea after. But to be honest, the whole way through all Quick Unpicks, this has been me. I've been like about to drink and then it's got really interesting, so I haven't drunk any tea yet. I've picked up my cup a lot, but you know, it's just posing.
Yeah, it's a good prop as well, isn't it? To like,
it's a very good prop. Yeah, I do.
It's a bit hot actually. I'm going to put it down. It's a bit hot still.
What tea is it?
So I switched to decaf in the morning because I was getting palpitations, and I think it's pretty much because of my caffeine habits. I had to cut back. So I figured really I shouldn't need it in the morning because I've just slept. So yeah, I've switched to decaf.
But you do have kids, so you are also allowed.
Yeah, it's true. But it's like that should be the most refreshed I be first thing in the morning. So yeah, I've got the Yorkshire tea, which I have to admit, I used to think was not. I used to be a die-hard pyramid PG tips, and then I've totally switched. Like I'm a hardcore. I get it. I get.
The Yorkshire tea is good, isn't it? It's a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you a morning person?
I am.
I thought you might be.
I prefer being up in the morning and getting out and getting things done, but then I sew at night. So
you burn the candles at both ends.
yeah exactly. It's probably why I was having so much caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. It was so needed. Oh, it's so good to see you. It's been so long. The last time I saw you was at my baby shower.
No way.
Yeah, it was. It was, and you gave us gorgeous. Romana made a rattle and this gorgeous pulley, a taggy blanket thing that Bea absolutely. I mean, she still pulls out the rattle now. It's weird actually. As a toddler, she's really into her baby toys, and every time we go to a shop, she always goes straight for like the baby toys. I'm like, darling, you're a little bit past that, but it's okay. But yeah, so that was the last time I saw you. So I guess, what have you been up to the last couple of years? Apart from becoming a doctor. I mean, you can tell us that as well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, when was it? What year was it? I didn't even know what year that
2019. Yeah, the beginning of that.
2019.
I know, what a weird world we've been in since
so
then.
I mean, I qualified as a doctor years and years ago. I qualified in 2013. So I've just been in my training. So 2019, I think I just started my final year of my training to become a GP. So I was a doctor, but just doing that final bit of training. Yeah, and then the pandemic hit. So yeah, I mean, it's you know, my husband's also a doctor, a junior doctor. So it was intense.
I can imagine.
2020.
And did you have to go into the practice, or did it all change when pandemic hit?
Oh, we were still working, but like everyone else, our childcare and our systems shut down. So I think we went 5 weeks without having a weekend off together. We were just tag teaming. So one would go for a day shift, the other one would come back and go for, like, they would go for a night shift. Yeah, so we were just tag teaming with our daughter on our own for the first lockdown, which was intense. And it's really funny because, do you know, we were getting emails about the virus end of 2019, like as it was coming through. And I remember one of my I had this patient who I really enjoyed seeing, and we saw each other quite a lot. And she left my room and she kind of paused at the door before she left around January time, being like, "Doctor, you know this virus, should we be worried?" And I was like, "No, don't worry about it." And like months later, I was on the phone to her doing a remote consultation. She was like, "Do you remember what you said to me?" Like, oh gosh.
I think everyone in the world did that, though. I mean, I was in hospital when the kind of the news broke, and I remember watching it and the nurse coming in and going, "So is this something?" And she was like, "No." They were all laughing at me that I was worried about it.
No, exactly. It was yeah. So I think 2020 is probably a bit of a blur. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, I think I would say it's probably
survived, and that's amazing.
Sorry, I've also got my daughter here, and it's just me. Very nice. She's just showing me her drawings. Yeah, so but then I also had my exams. So I was doing my final exams to become a GP. So yeah, I think everything just, do you know what? It's actually, now it's coming back. I'm like, oh, that was a really horrible year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was more, yeah, I think I was just, you know, I don't know what's the word, treading water.
Surviving. Yeah,
surviving.
getting through it.
So I did my final exams, and then after 2021 in January, I qualified, so became a fully qualified GP. And then it meant that I was able to be a bit more, take control of my career a bit more. So before, where I'd been kind of working like and just doing craft on the side, now I'm able to designate a day to crafting and like working as a crafter, I guess, which has just been amazing. So yeah, so the last year has been really different, and getting that life balance that I really needed. So I work Tuesdays as a GP, Wednesdays is my creative day, and then Thursdays is my long day on call as a GP. So it's like horribly intense, but I like feel so refreshed to go into it. Like I feel ready to go into it after Wednesday. So I think craft has become more like important. It's like a bigger part of my life now, which is quite amazing.
It is. It's a total therapy, isn't it? I mean, I know some people don't like that saying, but it really is. I mean, it's your way to do something for yourself that enables you to do other things, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say it makes me a better doctor, for sure. Because I think if I was working 3 days a week as a GP, I probably would be getting to the point of burnout. And it really does give me that balance. So, you know, like I said, I feel refreshed. I come back on Thursday. I'm ready to be like, yeah, one day, we can do it. We can do it. We can get through the day. And so, yeah, I think that having that balance makes me feel better as a person. Because a lot of, I know obviously lots of people have lots of complaints about GPs. Please don't start complaining about GPs.
No, don't worry, no complaints here.
No complaints, please. Because sometimes I do get complaints and I'm like, oh. But like a lot of the difficulty can be trying to manage your own emotions and frustrations. And it's not frustrations at patients, it is just at the system or being overwhelmed.
System, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just being constantly bombarded at one time. Because, you know, you might not know, but like we're on the phone to a patient, but we're also getting messages from reception, from other colleagues, from patients leaving a message to reception. So we're getting messages like screen messages like MSN coming up constantly. So they could be non-urgent, they could be urgent. Then you're getting other things, tasks and things. You're getting emails as well, and you're trying to concentrate on this one thing. And it can be overwhelming, and I can see why people then become a bit short or they don't listen as well. So I think it's really important to look after myself. Yeah. And my mental well-being, to be able to be. So that's why I always say it does make me a better doctor, for sure.
That's really lovely, because it must be so overwhelming, and what a kind of juggling act as well, because you know you want to show you care to each one of those people trying to Yeah, you're a superwoman, Romana. You're amazing. I mean, I love my GP. I they're incredible, and but I'm very lucky, and I'm sure all your patients are saying the same thing about you, that they're very lucky to have you. And do you find, are you now in the position where, you know, you'll bump into friends or whatever, and they'll go, "Oh, while I've got you, I've got this funny mole or whatever." Are you that kind of person in the family and friends at the moment?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I'm gonna start charging you guys because
Yes.
like the amount of like toes and rashes I have to look at. I see more of my family's kids' backs and feet and hands than I see of their faces. Like I'm like, after a while I'm like, can you just send me a picture of your child that is like normal? Yeah, constant.
Yeah, my husband's dad is a doctor, and we do call him Doctor Dad. And whenever Stephen's like, "I've got a problem," I'm like, "Are you calling Doctor Dad? Come on." Poor guy. He's like, "What do you want now?" I was like, "Libby's cough."
Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Right, well, we should talk about sewing, because, you know,
Yeah.
that's what Quick Unpicked's all about. So have you had much time to, I mean, you do so many other crafts and so many upcycling and cooking and so much. Have you had a time to do much sewing?
Yeah, I think the pandemic really, because I was so shattered during the day, and sewing normally happens. So everyone's like, how do you do things and that you do? And one, it's normally caffeine fueled, like it just I can't function without caffeine, let's be honest. That's how I function. And so most of my sewing happens at night because, you know, my daughter is like 4, she's just turned 4, so she's 3, 4. You can't really get much sewing around like these days, and she's getting big, so when she was little I used to just put her on my lap and she'd press the buttons. Now she's too big to sew on my lap. So a lot of my sewing happens at night, but I have to have a certain level of energy. I don't know if it's the same with everyone. So that's why I picked up these other couch crafts, is what I called them. That's why I was doing other things. But you know what, like when I eventually get back into sewing, if I pick up a project, I love it. I always forget how much I love it. It's just that we were talking the other day about what your worst jobs of sewing are, and like tracing in and cutting out like that first bit. So if I haven't sewn in a while, to get me to do the worst bit of sewing first, so maybe I just need to have like a stash of cut out projects ready to go. So then I can just jump into the best bit. Like, yeah, so
I do recommend bulk cutting out. Actually, I've started doing that, and it's made a massive difference. Yeah.
But do you not hate yourself when you do it?
Well, I put on a good TV show, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, by the way, because I want to talk about This Is Us.
Oh.
But no spoilers. I'm really early on. But I put on something like that, and then I just cut out, and I kind of think of it as having a TV night with a pair of scissors.
Okay. That's not
and then the next day, I've got loads of things to just sew, and yeah, it is. I do a week of cutting out, and then a week of sewing.
A week?
At the moment. I mean, I'd say
wow.
I do. I've done it like once.
Okay.
In my head,
I mean, it does make sense. Yeah, it does make sense, because that is my worst bit, and that's what drags me. Like the idea of like rolling things out on the floor and like, you know, yeah. So, but once I do it, then I'm like, oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think my sewing has also changed over the years, and I think maybe I've become more of a perfectionist in the fit and things, which means that I very rarely just do a simple project, which then adds to the whole like, oh, this is really long. And because I don't know about you, but my sewing journey always goes like really excited, I'm about to start a project, then down because I have to cut it and trace it and stuff. Then maybe a bit more excitement. Then it's like, oh no, the fit issues. Oh no. And then it like goes down and down and down. And then I like drag myself back up. And then it goes back up, because then I'm like, I get over that hump, and then you'll love it. But it feels like a roller coaster sometimes. And I think that might be because I expect more from my sewing, because I'm like, well, I want it to fit better. But I think I'm pretty, like, if you asked me 5 years ago, I mean, I definitely know how little my sewing knowledge was before. Like, I think as you get more knowledge, you kind of put more pressure on yourself, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because you've got higher expectations of what you can create, haven't you? Like at the beginning, you're just like, if I can make a dress, I'm winning.
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
end, you know, later on, a few years later, you're like, if I get the seam right,
Yeah, like
if it's like really sharp,
zips,
yeah.
and like, yeah, now I'm like, okay.
What sort of things do you like to make then? I mean, you make such beautiful clothes, and you know, the prints and the colors you use and everything. I love all your stuff you've done with Spoonflower. But what's your kind of like favorite? What do you really like to make?
So I have to say, I have always thought myself as not a prints person, like never. So when Spoonflower approached me the first time, I was a bit like, yeah, but I don't wear prints because I'm not a prints person. But it has really not forced me, but it has made me like appreciate a print. And yeah, and like actually, if you look at my stuff, most of these days it is print. I mean, I tend to pair it with block colors. I only tend to wear block color hijabs as well. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I kind of switch between quick, convenient makes. So I'm now constantly making my skirt pattern because I don't know if people don't know that I have a free skirt pattern which is free from my blog, and I pretty much made it because I just wanted the skirt. I was kind of like, you know what, I want a skirt that's like a rectangle skirt but better. So I wanted to have pockets, and I wanted to have a bit of shaping, and I wanted to do midi with a ruffle hem, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make it. And I was like, oh, I might as well share it with people. But I pretty much made it for myself.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I make that the most. And I think that's because I can just make it in an evening, and it's just practical and it fits with my wardrobe. But then I also really love deep diving into projects like my coat. Like, I never thought I'd be that person who like really gives a lot into making a big thing. But I really need to make a new one, because sadly that coat, the material has not. It's so sad when you put so much effort into something and the material doesn't.
I know.
Survive. It's just so bottly and looks.
So is this the Rumana coat? It's by her in London, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm so excited to make my namesake coat. But yeah, the material just hasn't held. Like my mum was looking at it, it's like, didn't you make Tawfiq coat like years ago? And why does his look better than yours? It's like, yeah, I know. But like
fabric.
The motivation to make such a big project, like I was meant to do it in the winter, and then obviously now it's too late to start making a winter coat. So that's why I end up making a coat every couple of years, maybe.
No, I'm exactly the same, and I always out of season with my makes. I always make like something really warm and cozy, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's hot now. Right, I'll put that away.
Exactly. And I'm like looking at my stash, like there are fabrics that I just need to, and it's that I just every time I'm like, oh, should I make something with this? It's just the wrong seasons, and now I need to. And I'm not prepared like enough to do it in advance. Like that's just not me. I'm not able to be one of those people who's able to plan their mates over their seasons or ever. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I totally understand.
And like I think that works for some people, but it just isn't for me. So I'm like looking at things like, no, this time. And the thing is, I think the great thing about experience is that actually, even when I haven't sewn for a long time, when I do sew, I realise I'm just much quicker at it. Like, and that's just practice. That's just years of experience. Sorry, she wants to show me something again.
We want to see.
Oh, great. Okay, we'll do the card in a bit. Okay, we're going to make a birthday card. That's why.
Oh, lovely. Whose birthday is it?
One of our family friends. We're going.
Oh, lovely. Okay, I'm really pleased you didn't say it's my birthday today. I'll be like,
oh, no.
But yeah, so you've been doing lots of other crafts as well. I loved your punch needling and everything, and you've been lots of knitting. Is there any craft you haven't tried yet that you want to have a go at?
Oh, that is a good question.
Do you do crochet?
I do crochet. I actually, funnily enough, started my blog as a crochet blog. Like,
no way.
Yeah, so I picked up crochet as a student because I was just bored and I kind of wanted something to do rather than revise. And so I was doing crochet, and that's my blog was an anonymous blog. So I because I didn't know, like I was just a student. It was years ago, 2011 or something. Yeah, so I started as a crochet blog, and I used to make little little characters and stuff like that. So yeah, but I don't crochet that much anymore. I only do it if I'm making little toys. She also knows this, that if she asks for a biscuit while I'm on a video call, I'm like, yay. You can't reach those biscuits. You can go get another biscuit from the cupboard.
This all sounds very familiar. They work out so quickly when they can get away with things, and it's very dangerous. So you know, I mean, crocheting, knitting, knowing both of them and being good at both of them is a real skill, because I think most people only have one.
I wouldn't say I'm good at knitting.
You make beautiful things.
Yeah, I mean, it's hang on, sorry,
don't worry,
Ricky, just go get one from the drawer. Sorry,
this is real life.
I'm start walking you around. Okay, why don't you have this instead? I should have got snacks ready for them. Oh, just this, isn't it? Have these ones instead. This is a sweet one that you got from Honey. Okay, and then I'll give you this. Go take it. You can take it. Yeah. So I mean, there is definitely stuff I really want to learn how to do. I'm just trying to think of what it is.
Have you done macrame yet?
Yeah, I have. You just shoot out crafts at me and I'll see what
I know. I can't think of any. Well, I mean, I've started woodworking, so I fully recommend that. It's amazing. It's so good. Okay, I got to use the lathe last week, and it was like, using a lathe is my favorite thing ever.
That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. Okay, so I haven't done that, and I guess everyone's been doing shoes. Everyone's making shoes.
Yes, yeah. Have you haven't done that yet?
I
give you like a few months.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have a massive interest in making shoes, but I guess people seem to really love it when they do it, right? I mean, I made my bag. That was
that bag was gorgeous,
and that has just like I'm definitely a big advocate of making something like that slow but really satisfying process. Yeah, knitting, crochet.
Anyone got any ideas for a craft that Rumana hasn't tried yet? Send them in.
Needle punch, yeah. So something
that was gorgeous. Well, there's so many, but it's really hard to think on the spot.
Oh, I know what I want to do. I do know. I think Emily's done it. You know when you carve out your jewellery?
Oh, yes. With the kind of clay stuff.
Yeah. And then pottery. So I have done like pinch pot pottery. And my friend took me for a class. So apparently I'm really hard to buy a present for. I disagree. I literally feel like I give out so much information about what things I would like. And now I've got like a wish list on Etsy. So it's like, people don't complain about me being hard to buy for. But my friend basically now just takes me out for things. So she took me to a pottery class, but it wasn't with a wheel. So I've never done a wheel, but it was like a hand one. Flower bashing. What's that?
I've never heard of that.
Okay.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah.
I have made some pressed flowers for a present for a friend, which I haven't actually put. I actually have to find them. I put them in a notebook. I should probably go check that they're okay. But no, I haven't done flower bashing. Okay. This is
okay, so there is a lot of things. I mean, there's so many crafts that also just coming out of lockdown. Apparently, like the amount of crafts that were made from people's ideas and things has been through the roof. So we're in a really good position to do new crafts.
Yeah, for sure. And there's just so much information out there as well, which is just great. I think there is, I know we're talking about sewing mainly, but I think there is a nice balance. I really have enjoyed having my couch crafts when I'm a bit more tired. I just want to sit on the sofa, watch some TV. Because you can't really do that with sewing, isn't it? Unless you get hand sewing. You kind of, and like the way our room is set up is like I'm here with my sewing machine and it's like the opposite corner is like where the living and the TV is. So it's not like I can do both at the same time. So I think
I bring my iPad when I'm sewing, but it's really funny because I'll like get into it and then I turn on the sewing machine and I don't hear any of it. So I like have to stop for little bits and be like, and then I realise, wait, I'm not sewing. I'm just watching telly.
Yeah, so that's how I've been watching the sewing bee, like on my iPad on the side, and then I was like, I didn't even see the finished makes. Like, this is just so ridiculous that I'm watching it, but I'm not watching it.
Yeah, that's exactly the same with me. Oh, what do you think of the new bees as a former bee yourself? I loved your series. It was my favorite. So
I mean, I was saying that I swear every year they just get better and better. Like, I, looking back, feel like such a joke for having gone on that show at my.
No.
So, no, honestly, I had no idea half the things they're talking about. And these guys not only know it, they're fitting properly. Like, I promise you, I don't really remember fitting to my model. If I'm honest, I don't think I did. Like, maybe a little bit here and there, but I'd not in the way that these guys are doing, like proper fit changes. I mean, yeah, I was saying the funniest thing was that I never knew what a notch was until I was in the sewing bee room on the first episode, and they kept talking about notches, and I was like, what on earth is a notch? So, I mean, even just before that, it's like before I got on the show, I was like, I learned what a seam allowance was, because I didn't even know what a seam allowance, like, there's just so much terminology, which is why, like, I think it's amazing. I think the sewers that go on there now are just amazing, because
they are top notch, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very professional. And I mean, they're picking apart things that are like not at all a problem because they have to. I mean, you know, it's amazing. So yeah, good. Long live the sewing bee. I was a bit worried there that it would stop, so I'm pleased that it's back, because it's like there's been such a resurgence of sewing over lockdown. And I mean, just talking to friends of mine who weren't interested in sewing at all, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I brought a sewing machine, you know, in the third lockdown, and now I love sewing bee and stuff. So there's so many people picking it up. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
really good. So it's a really lovely inspiration for people to have, and you know, it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you think, I mean, the Sabina skirt is so beautiful, by the way, congratulations. I know so many people love it. It's on my wish list, and I will sew it at some point as well, because it's gorgeous. But do you think you have any other up your sleeve? Are you kind of, do you want to be like a pattern designer, or was that a bit of a one-off?
It's quite a lot of
it's quite a lot of work.
And I think the thing I got away with, because I'm giving it away for free. I did get it like properly looked at by a professional, so that it was professionally digitized and professionally graded, because I was like, do you know what, I don't have the time, and also I don't have the expertise, and I want to make sure it's not like an absolute mess. But it is quite a basic skirt, so it wasn't a lot of work. But if you were to do a proper skirt and proper patterns, you know, I personally I've been called a perfectionist, which I would never have said I am, but I guess I am in a sense. I would feel such a responsibility to people using that pattern that I'd be like, I wouldn't be, I don't know, I just think I'd be so wrecked with like, oh, is it perfect? Right, I don't know if I could do it. So with the free one, I was a bit like, well, you know, I'm not going to pattern test it at each size. It's been graded. It's a very basic shape. So, you know, and it's kind of like, well, it's a free pattern. Like, you're not going to expect the same rigor as if you're paying for something. The idea someone pays for anything that I do just fills me with joy. Like, even the sewathon that I did this week, my skirt's gone up on eBay.
You're doing like, really well on the auction. It's gorgeous.
But I'm just like proper freaking out. Like, should I have checked again? Because I was so tired by the end of it that I kind of like, I knew I'd done all my seams, I'd done the sewing, put on the mannequin, but I didn't do a final check. Like, I didn't go through, you know, all the ins and outs and make sure that everything was perfect. And now I'm like, oh, someone might buy that. Yeah, so
you're too hard on yourself. I mean, you made something beautiful for charity, and I think anyone buying from the big sew off knows that people are going to be tired, and you know, so don't you worry about that. It's a gorgeous skirt.
But yeah, I don't know if I would do more patterns. Maybe I think it's more, I feel like these days I'm making things for myself, so even though I could probably hack a pattern from someone else to get something like a design that I want, I'm not. I don't know why. And I'm making so much more work for myself. It's just that I find things don't fit me so much from just the standard pattern companies that I end up having to hack it so much. I'm like, well, I might as well just start from scratch and do it myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe if I find something that I want to make for myself, then maybe, and I put so much effort into it, then I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, maybe I'll share this too.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Oh, well, good luck with that. And I think, you know, Sabina's a beautiful skirt. I know my friend Hannah, Rather Be Sewing, she has made so many. And it's so lovely though. It must be so nice for you to see other people wearing your design. It must be lovely.
Really nice. And like there was a point where I thought, okay, I'm not going to do this because sorry, I have a cough.
Oh yeah, me too, don't worry.
Because it was really difficult, and obviously it's an expensive process. I'm not gonna lie, getting something done like that professionally is an expensive process, and I had given myself a budget, but my budget just kept moving. And then there's obviously the size inclusion kind of conversation, and I was like, what do I do? Do I do this in 2 different size bands? And I was speaking to my best friend who would be in the bigger size band, and she was like, look, you know, it's like, I think it's a do it or don't do it thing. And I was like, you know, how can I exclude my best friend? Like, she's absolutely right. And so I went back and had a chat with my husband. I was like, look, if I do this, I want to do it all. And that means the price will go up. And he was like, yeah, no, go for it. And that actually just, you know, seeing so many people make it, and I think being able to give something that's for free, because when I started sewing, used so many resources like that. Because you know, it's an expensive hobby, and you don't want to buy patterns if you don't know if you want to carry on selling, if you're going to be any good at it, or it's something that you'll enjoy. So to be able to add to that library feels like it feels like a real privilege, and it is lovely. I absolutely love seeing. It's mad to see so many people make the pattern, and I still again freak out that did I miss a notch? Now that I know what notches are.
Oh no, I you know, it's just really lovely to be part of this community where you can put your own thing out there and then see all these people's interpretation of it and how they're inspired to go on with it. I think it's so wonderful. Oh, Rumana, we're out of time. We didn't even talk about this stuff, but it's amazing, isn't it?
Don't watch it. You have to watch it. Don't watch it when you're hormonal.
I cry so much. Yeah, I always know what time of the month it is with how upsetting it's getting.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure we had so much else to talk about, but thank you so much for joining me. It's been so lovely.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you everyone for watching. And this will be on catch up on, you know, my feed and YouTube and everything. I've got to do a big shout out for Faf, who are sponsoring us this week. Ta-da! We both love Faf and you know, have been ambassadors and everything, and they're just such a supportive company as well, aren't they? They're really so lovely. But they've got their 160th year anniversary at the moment, which is huge, and they've got lots of new machines coming up and lots in the pipeline, so go Faf. And also to Rainbow Fabrics, who've got another new collection and just churning out the most beautiful fabrics to tempt and sway us all, and also to Happy Fabric for their gorgeous heat transfer vinyl. Okay, all right, that's my bit. Thank you again, Rumana, and everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Lots of love. Bye.